You do recognize, though, that a lot of the people who are in power have inherited decades of rot, and you can't wave a magic wand and all that rot will disappear.
Charles, I don't like discussing this today. No matter where you start, if you mean well, you can start correcting them. The role of a leader is not to remind people of the past, or mention the past, or think about the past. Your role is to show the path by doing things that are right. Change starts from you. By you, if you decide to walk the right path, that's how it starts. You can decide, okay, yesterday it was wrong. That's even part of why we hired you. Because it was wrong yesterday, we didn't hire you to remind us or start giving us the excuse, but to show the solution and how best to do it. That is leadership. We're actually walking in the wrong direction.
Right.
Very wrong direction. And we need to change it and walk in the right direction. And it has to start from the number one person.
Well, let's assess that walking in the right direction or wrong direction and that number one person. Let's turn to President Tinubu. Do you think he has displayed the strength and the ability to tackle Nigeria's many problems? Are you impressed with mega projects, for example, like the Lagos-Calabar Highway?
I would say that President Tinubu have kept to his campaign promises. Throughout the campaign, he consistently maintained that he will continue from where Buhari stopped. And that is done very well. I would say excellent. I'll give him excellent pass mark. So overall, he's done well. Let's even go back to the overall of the economy. By the time he took over, we were still the biggest economy in Africa with $477 billion as our GDP, followed by South Africa, Egypt, Algeria, and Morocco. Today, South Africa is number one now. Egypt is second. So with every other thing have headed south. You see, insecurity is worsened.
Well, let's
corruption has worsened.
Right. Let's
adherence to the rule of law has worsened. The country has been nepotism is at the highest.
Let's look at one issue that you mentioned, and you came up with quite voluble statistics there, and that is the issue of the economy. The president, in the clip we played earlier, before our interview began, made it clear that he was aware of the fact that there would be pain before gain. I mean, if you look at every economy, from Argentina to all the ones that have tried to reform their economies, there's always a bit of pain before the gain comes. That comes with putting in reforms, fundamental reforms that would eventually lead to an improvement in the economy. What I'm curious to know is, if you had become president, how difficult would it have been to govern in the current environment? Because you would have inherited essentially what President Buhari left for you to inherit. Because some have argued that whoever took over from President Buhari would have inherited a country that would have been very difficult to fix, with so much borrowing and debt and corruption and the fall in, the currency and all the rest of it. Yes, you could argue that the government, that was part of their what they said were their reforms, but in other words, you would not have been able to turn things around and deliver in 1 year.
Charles, the first thing you do as a leader who inherited a difficult situation is to lead by example, and it starts by your own style, by your behavior, your conduct, how you manage the resources. You cannot say that things are difficult when you're living in conspicuous consumption. The things you don't do. Nigeria today is a country with the highest amount of people without homes. Over 24 million. Yet, you're spending 20-something billion to build a house for one person. Mr. Johnson, are you saying that a vice president of Nigeria cannot live in a 4-bedroom house? So that is where you start. You start by living like somebody who is coming through difficulty, who is facing difficulty, who wants to change things. That's how we do it. You don't engage in what we've been doing, buying vehicles, partying and everything as if things are normal. When you say there's difficulty, you need to deal with the issue of cutting the cost of governance. That's where you start. So you need to deal with the issue of massive corruption. That is showing that I am now, okay, things are bad. Just have served the system where I came in and found that things are bad. And we start by cutting the cost of governance.
So is that what you'd like to see him address? I mean, what are the things that
you have to also show a clear plan. It is not enough to say, oh, we're going to go through problem. If we're going to go through problem, this is very simple. You enter a plane. There's a bad weather. There's going to be a turbulence. The pilot says, we're going to go through bad weather. It's going to take us maybe 1 hour, 2 hours because of this. And he follows it through. That is not the time. In that bad weather, everybody, even the crew, are asked to sit down. That's not time to start serving food and wine and everything when everything is up and down. That's why we're there. We're in turbulence and people are still dancing and everything. I always say what happened to the Titanic is what is happening in Nigeria. While the plane was going on, the people on the upper deck were busy dancing until the whole thing collapsed. That's what is happening now. We should change and do things rightly. We can change and manage our corruption and everything and all that. So I'm going around asking people, do not shy away from politics. Peter Obi is not asking you today for vote for Peter Obi. I'm asking you to sit down and scrutinize all those that are offering themselves for election. Put all of us on a scale. Let's know who we are. Let's ask questions who we are. Let's verify who we are. Do not vote for me because I'm an Igbo man. Do not vote for anybody because they're from the West. Do not vote for anybody because they're from the North. This is time to vote a human being who have conscience and trust. So if Peter Obi is not the one, to be trusted, don't vote for him. Don't vote for him because he gave you money. Because he will steal your money. This is the time. We have 7 months. You have 7 months to ask questions. Who is Peter Obi? Where did he go to school? Who are his families? Don't listen to our grammar. This is time to ask about people's lifestyle. Where they live, how they live, everything. That is what we need now. Don't listen to our promises. Ask questions. The ones we promised in the past, how did we keep it? Please be seated. Let me thank all the AG members that are here. We are all children of God, so I'm an AG member. As I was coming here, I was asking the question on issue of university and issue of education. As you know, I'm particularly about the education. And I thank you and all the AG members for the prayers. Let me assure all of you, we need prayers in our country. We need prayers in our country. By the time I finish, I will tell you your prayer points. Because part of why I believe we are getting it wrong is that our prayer points needs to change. I'll give you the prayer points when I end. For me, I am sincerely grateful and appreciative of this opportunity. And like our Father in faith have said, it's not a political rally. But also said to the church, do not walk away from politics. The church walking away from politics is part of what we are suffering. The church members live in a nation. The sufferings that are going on today are AG members and church members. When you walk away from politics, people suffer. The church doesn't have a place where their members buy food cheaper. Do they have? So the church can't keep quiet. We kept quiet enough. We cannot allow a situation we find ourselves in Nigeria today where lunatics have taken over the asylum. Nigeria cannot continue the way it's going today. And it's your prayers. Your prayers is you're not asking for anything more. You're asking just for good governance. You're asking them hope to build a place for your children. We want to give the children of this country hope. We're asking for more. We have 100 million Nigerians living in poverty. We have our young ones who have gone to school without job, without a future. They are not asking for anything. They want an opportunity to earn a living. It is not too much for their country to give them. So I'm going around asking people, do not shy away from politics. Peter Obi is not asking you today for vote for Peter Obi. I'm asking you to sit down and scrutinize all those that are offering themselves for election. Put all of us on a scale. Let's know who we are. Let's ask questions who we are. Let's verify who we are. Do not vote for me because I'm an Igbo man. Do not vote for anybody because he's from the West. Do not vote for anybody because he's from the North. This is time to vote a human being who have conscience and trust. So if Peter Obi is not the one, to be trusted, don't vote for him. Don't vote for him because he gave you money. Because he will steal your money. This is the time. We have 7 months. You have 7 months to ask questions. Who is Peter Obi? Where did he go to school? Who are his families? Don't listen to our grammar. Don't even look at our certificates. Yes, you can ask if we went to question. But remember that the educational qualification is not a measure of integrity. There's so many criminals that went to school. There's so many people who went to school who are criminals. It is time to ask about people's lifestyle, where they live, how they live, everything. That is what we need now. Don't listen to our promises. Ask questions. The ones we promised in the past, how did we keep it? That is important. This country is not productive. Our Father in the Lord have said because of sit at home. These are all that were caused by bad leadership. You can't have 100 million people who don't know where the next meal will come from and you have security. No. It is all that caused it. Insecurity have been fought in other countries of the world, in South America, in Asia. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. People's businesses are collapsing. Our children are not in school. People are dying because there's no health care. Nothing. This is time to ask questions about all of us. I only ask for prayers. No prayers for me, but prayers for Nigeria. Prayers that Nigeria do not make mistake. Prayers that will start electing people with conscience, people with fear of God. Everybody here is a child of God. Peter Obi is not better than anybody here. It's God that gave us power, gave us position to use it to serve humanity, but we have used it to serve ourselves. And that is what we need to question now. And like I said, do not listen to politicians, including me, talk. Go and verify. We know how to speak sweet things, but go and verify. From our homes, ask even our wives, our children, who their father is, how he lives at home, his relationship with his wife. I thank you for the opportunity. It was prayer that I asked. And let me tell you, as I end, because I said it's not political gathering, maybe in November, our Father in the Lord will authorize me to then talk about politics, because we'll be campaigning then. Today is prayers. But let me tell you what your prayer point will be. As you go on now, do not pray for Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the best places God created in the surface of the earth. Nigeria have a 923,000 square kilometers of land. Fertile land. Some other people don't have it. Nigeria is 200 million people. But because of bad political leadership, it's unproductive. All we do here is sharing, not producing. I've studied about 31 countries and found out that God blessed Nigeria. He gave them everything, but gave them bad leadership. And that cannot continue.